Hi. So we're going to talk about assignment 3. Now in assignment 3 it's about fuse. From our last lecture we talked about how ideation led to ideas, and but are the ideas enough? Have you achieved a certain level of quantification of ideas, or have you quantified it enough? I mean, is there a various variety of ideas? But sometimes having variety of ideas may not be just enough, because um, you might want to do something about those ideas. And sometimes out of like 10 ideas or 20 ideas, you might just pick one of the best ones or two of the best ones. But sometimes it depends on your objectives, it depends on your need and what you want it for. What are these solutions for something? So it all depends. But in this particular assignment, we're exploring. So you might want to have fun with this thing. Well, basically, we just have to do some kind of random selection and random, choices, and try to combine them with a process. Well, you pick a random object and then you combine them with a process or something like that. But you would have had some sense of ideation or some kind of ideation which you have done in the previous class or the previous sessions. But right now, you're going to be applying a technique, a synectic technique, where you could actually bring this together and modify it. And it goes through a process of alterations, some sense of process of modification that takes you further, that stretches your idea even further. So this is all about fusion of ideas. Now fusion leads to all kinds of modifications and things like that. Now remember, from the very beginning, you have been working with your imagination, and that sort of like led you to ideation, right? And being able to translate your imagination onto sketching and illustration and things like that, trying to visualize it, that's the process of creativity. There you go. So imagination leads to creativity. I think I don't quite like this. I like this, to write it like this. Imagine, and then you translate, and then it's called creative. Yeah, the creative work. And then the next step would be, from creative work you move on to innovation, because you want to bring that creative idea to life. So having creative ideas is the ability to modify them even further and to stretch your ideas. So from fluency, you become more flexible with the idea, right? Because fluency is really about quantifying the ideas and how many ways and alternative choices, alternative ideas. But then when it comes to flexibility, you need to be creative. You need to try to stretch it even further, modify it, attach some things, things like that. Then then later on you start to put your logic hat a little bit and try to make it more original. Then you start to make it more real, now, because in the process of trying to bring it to life, you might have some more things you want to do with it, and you want to ensure that it fulfills certain criteria, and the criteria is to make your ideas as original as possible. Then later on you add more details, style, aesthetics, beautiful, things like that. So now basically what this means is imagination creativity, and then it leads on to innovation. Now for this assignment, this is basically what you've been doing for this number of weeks. Now then after that, you're going to have to apply like a scamper technique to modify it further. Now you have seen that video. I don't have to repeat myself here about Scamper. You would have seen that video, and um, the video is basically on the Times website, and you should be able to see it. Now, basically what you're going to do, you're going to subject your idea which you have obtained from your ideation, mind maps and all that. So your original idea, okay, let's just say it's a ball, all right, then you're going to subject it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're going to subject it to CAMPER, yeah. So this means you're going to have to think about, oops, think about, change my pen here, yeah. So substitution, so you're going to have to do something about that ball, okay. Maybe you substitute a section of that ball for something else, and then combine it. Maybe you combine the ball with something else, okay. Then adapt the ball to a particular environment, okay, and maybe modify the ball. Maybe the ball can be modified into a TIE fighter. No, it doesn't look like a TIE fighter. Then you could put to other uses. Maybe the ball could be a dumbbell, yeah, and eliminate. What can you eliminate from the ball? Maybe the ball you could eliminate the center part of the ball, and it looks like something else. You can go through it, right? Then reverse or rearrange the ball, so you could have the ball, you know, like maybe this can go here and this could be here. So if you have two, something like that, it looks like something else. It could very well be another object. So you subject the ball in, for example, you subject your idea in seven different ways, and these 7 different ways, one of these ideas, okay, can be something that's very interesting. Now, what if you pick one of these Scamper ideas can be very really appealing. Now, what would it be? Now, let's just say you want maybe the adapt thing, you know, the ball on a platform, and that looks like something else. So let's innovate with this idea here. So let's just say you pick this idea, right? Now remember, I'm just showing you an example. I would expect you guys to be a lot more illustrative, and I want each of these ideas to be illustrated really nicely. Okay, so you pick this idea, then you take this idea to the next level, alright? Because that's basically what you need to produce. So now I'm going to draw it a bit more. Oops, sorry. Now let's say the ball, right? Now this ball, okay, it's on a platform. Now what if the platform, oops, sometimes it's hard to draw a straight line using paper. Okay, here you go. We've got half here. Now let's say the ball has, what if you want the ball to be elevated? Maybe you want the ball to be elevated. So that's it, isn't it? So you have ideas about what you want to do with the ball. So you could be that, yeah, maybe it has got a platform here. So you can continue to innovate and modify your final product, and I think I've got it. And I'm going to put a really round thing here, okay, and there you go. This in here, I'm just going to put a light bulb, and I got myself a lamp, a decorative lamp. So I'm going to call it the ball lamp. Now, but of course, I'm just explaining this to you. This is a very rough sketch. But of course, I need you to really put on your illustration skills, and really make sure that you illustrate your creations really well, because that's the key to showing how sincere that you are about your creation, because you put effort into trying to bring it out to life, and not just the physical form, but prior to the physical form you might want to bring this out visually. And it's important as design students that you realize how important the visual is, because being able to visualize is the key to convincing your future clients. Yeah, so that's very important. Don't ever take that for granted, because people want to rely on you, people want to trust you. So if people trust you, they see a really good visual from you, they will trust you. And if it works, if it sells their product, they will trust you even more. And of course you get this. Yeah, so that's the whole point, isn't it? So why don't you give this a try? I hope you understand what this is. Now, in assignment 3, you need to go through, it has to go through the 7 stages of Scamper. And modifying it, it can be any object. Pick an object, okay? But in this case, I picked an object, and the other thing that I picked is illumination, some kind of lighting up. So maybe I combined a ball with, in order to choose, maybe I wanted to connect ball, oops, sorry, keep doing this, ball, object, okay, plus illumination, because I want the ball to light up. And if I wanted the ball to light up, this is basically what I need to do, right? So it starts out from here, but basically I'm modifying the ball. So when I see the idea of ball lighting up, why not, but the ball lighting up, actually that is like way before during your mind mapping time. But the ball lighting up thing, you can actually scamper it further to modify the lamp and so on and so forth. But in this case, I'm just showing you an example of how Scamper works. So you could, have fun with this. Yeah. Alright, now what kind of objects can you pick? You can pick just about any object. Let's see, you can try to combine a light bulb. Alright, this is a light bulb. You can combine a light bulb with something, how about combine a light bulb with a brush? Now in the early section of the mind mapping and ideation, you don't want to use Scamper on just one of these. You might want to use Scamper on combined things. Say in the earlier part of your ideation or the early exercises, you might want to do some random selection on 2 objects, or an object and a process. Or say if you choose a brush, it could be like, painting. So a brush that paints also and does other things too. You could think about other processes. You can also use goggles, for example. These are just examples. I mean, there's so many junk around here. I could just pick one junk and just tell you what it is. Sometimes it depends. You can be from a different discipline. You can be from a different part of a design. So it does not have to be real objects. I mean, objects can come in many forms. Even paper. There's something you can do with this. Yeah. You can also, let's say, you can use a watch, right? But I'm not going to ruin my watch. But you can use an old watch, a thrown away watch. You're creating prototypes. You're not exactly. You don't want to use actual valuable things, so use recycle things. So you think about it. Yeah, just have fun with those, and once you have a specific idea, then take the idea further. You can even use clay, right? And You can do tons of things with clay. Now, you're from different programs or anything like that, doesn't matter. You know, it is not, this is not an art thing. It's not nothing to do with art. It's to do with ideas. So you need to explore any ideas. Now you have, but in this camper, make something useful. Now I could turn, now with clay, I could combine clay with cardboard, paper, combine clay with paper, you know, and turn it into something else. Maybe I create a character with paper or something like that. So, but is that idea enough? No. I'm going to use Scamper, and if I use Scamper and things like that, I might just come up with something. But let's just say I want to take, um, I use clay and I associate clay with story. What if I create a story, an animation with clay? And if I wanted to use an animation with clay, why not? I can create something that looks like an angry bird, you know, and so on, and then something, another character using just clay alone. Um, so, but a clay and story isn't enough, you know, a story about Angry Bird in there, but I want to make it original. So I used Scamper, then I went on and on and on, and then see what is, in the end, um, I had to include a main character that supports Angry Bird, that made it a little bit more original. Although Angry Bird is something that's been inspired from the Angry Birds, but I tried to innovate from there, you know. So because I didn't want to really reinvent the wheel, so then experimented, and then you see it's possible to have create animation. So this can also be one of those things that you can do. There you go. Two little angry birds. Two little angry birds on a planet. All right. So you could experiment with claymation and things like that. There are other things you could do too, right? So all right. Now back to the assignment. This is an individual assignment, so ideas must be illustrated, good finishing. All the criteria of this assignment will be there on the uploaded form, and there's no limit to the size, and you can use absolutely any material. And yeah, I think for bonus and extra scores, a little video or time lapse for working on this would be fantastic. Yeah, so all the best in this, and if you have any problems, please um, talk to me, and I'll see you for tutorials. Take care. Peace.